to the opposite end of spectrum onto Umeshji. So I've been closely involved with the BizLabs and your office, and some of our startups from T-Hub, Perspect.ai and everything. A couple of them were in your finalists and they won the awards. But hypothetically, there is a successful founder, uh, not very educated like Dr. Nikhil. Would you take those failed startups but successful founders as your next gen employees who can build internal startups in your group? Or how do you treat entrepreneurs who did not succeed and make a unicorn? If they want to work with Aditya Birla, how would you treat that?
Yeah, this is a very good point, Murli. Let me tell you first. As a corporate, you would like to have the best talent in your company so that we can excel vis-a-vis others. That is the most important thing, and even our chairman actually mentions that people are the real asset. Though you would have factories and stuff like that, so therefore, going by that particular thesis, what happens is typically people who are creative, who are innovative, have got a lot of ideas, they typically don't like to join a corporate. Okay, because what Ravi also mentioned is, would they become straight jacketed, or let's say in the processes and systems? But importantly, they look at, can they create something? I think that is where all these innovative young minds, they are primarily looking at, can they create a new world, can they create a new customer base, can they create a new business out of nothing? I think that is the spirit in which they work, and hence we are typically unable to get that kind of a talent. However, most of the corporates now are looking at ways and means how they can collaborate with these kind of startups. One of the typical way you would have seen, Murli, quite often, and even Ravi would have seen, is basically the acqui-hire model. So can we look at a particular technology which is fitting into, let's say, what we are doing as a corporate, and it is going to give me a competitive advantage. Is that is that a particular way I can fit into that particular technology? Or it could be, you know even a failed venture of that particular company would also suit us, because he has got that particular knowledge base, he has got that particular understanding, and with a corporate setup, probably understanding more about the problem statements which a corporate has, he can excel much better than what he was earlier. So therefore, we are hence, corporates like us, we are quite open to looking at these kind of hires, talent, which unfortunately are not available in the normal course. So hence, this kind of a collaboration, even if the venture has failed, is going to add a lot of value to us. Because if you have failed, you would have known what are the thousand ways you can fail, rather than, and you will not commit the same mistakes. So that is the way our thought processes, and we will be open to looking at both the successful ones as well as the unsuccessful ones.
थैंक यू सर. डॉक्टर निखिल, वी हैव होप. डर के आगे जीते. उमेश जी का नंबर है हमारे पास, चलेंगे अगर कुछ
Sure.
तो.
Can I just add to that?
Go ahead, Ravi.
Yeah. So I think we put a lot of onus on these startups to be disruptive, to do what is happening in other countries and so on and so forth. I think one of the not one, but the rest of the ecosystem to actually generate the demand for these startups is a very, very important thing. If the large corporations are not open to the idea of disrupting themselves or innovating, and therefore reaching out to the startups to coming up with new business models, coming up with new revenue streams, and so on and so forth. These startups can do some wonderful stuff. T-Hub will mentor the hell out of these guys. But if these guys are not going to get business from anybody, the startups are not going to be unicorns, leave alone, do anything, that is going to make a small difference here in the larger scheme of things. So I think, we also have to, shift the focus and make it broader to the corporate industries, the Indian corporates. So when we look at corporate innovation, it's the MNCs that come here and ask for some help on certain things that they're doing on a global basis. Indian industrialists, very few of them. I can count who are doing this on maybe just my hands, but the fingers. That's all. That's all we have in the Indian industries actually looking out for innovations and disruptions. And I hope with this pandemic, they will actually become much more, open to the idea of saying, shit, man, the market is going to change. I'm going to get disrupted. I might as well reach out and get more help from other places, and therefore reach out to startups as well. So I think demand creation here in India is going to create that disruption, without which, we can do all the things that we can. It will go down its organic path. The other constituency that also can create demand in a large way are the governments, right? And you would think, oh, this is absolutely a very surreal, kind of a, suggestion, but it's not. I mean, they consume so much of products and services, vis-a-vis the rest of the in the economy. That they should also be much more embracive of these things. And I've seen, even when we are taking COVID solutions from the startups to governments, they still don't know how to evaluate them. The crisis is right there in front of them. It is looming. It is urgent. People are dying, but they just don't know how to put their arms around a disruption that's able to solve some of these things. I understand there are some regulatory issues, having gone through ICMR, certification, all those are important. But beyond that point, you still are unable to take decisions. I think it's an opportunity loss. So if you're not creating the demand for these startups, and we are just putting the pressure on the startups saying, you guys are not disruptive enough, I think we are missing the point.